Well, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome into our first Q&A, AMA style, Ask Me Anything session of 2025. We'll still call this a New Year AMA session. Not quite. I don't know. How long does New Year last? All through January? Less? Not sure. But it's good to see everybody here. Jump in the chat. Say hey if you would. What I'd love to do as we kick off here is I would love to know where everyone is based out of. We've got some members of Web Designer Pro here. Great to see you, John. Good morning. John LeMay in the house. Good to see you. Who says morning all? Great to see you, John. We've got some other members of Pro who will ask some questions, can get some first dibs on questions, and then I will be opening up to all questions. This one is live on my YouTube channel. Good to see you, Justin, here with WebLogic. Great to see you. Matt's in the house. Good to see you, Matt, a former member of Pro. Matt, I hope all is going well with you and hope to see you back as soon as you're ready. How hot can the hot seat get? Well, you know how it goes, Justin. You're a member of Pro. For our weekly coaching calls, they get pretty hot. I do think we need to come up with a better term for those, but for right now, that'll do. Good to see everybody. If you're just joining us, welcome on in. If you would, jump in the chat and let us know where you are joining us from. I would actually love to know where everyone's at in the world right now. I know we've got some friends all over in the States, in the UK, and abroad. Good to see everybody here. We'll give a few minutes for everyone to file in, and I will be down to answer any questions you have today about, could be the business of web design, trends. If you guys want to talk about what's working well and what some of the opportunities are for web designers right now, I would love to chat about some of that as well. So really good to see everybody. Let me check the comments here. We've got Russ. Good to see you in the house from Reno. All right. Nevada. Awesome. Simon's in the house. Great to see you joining from West London. Awesome. Bishal, is that right? Bishal from India, welcome in. Great to see you. Mark is in the house. Good to see you. Poor Mark is a Notre Dame fan, so he's recovering. Don't worry, Mark. I'm not going to rub it in your face. I'm much more of a Blue Jackets guy than I am an OSU guy, although I did watch the game, and it was pretty cool, I have to say. But we're still friends. We were enemies for one day, but we're friends today. So good to see you, Mark. Matt says, hoping to be back in Web Designer Pro soon. Awesome, Matt. Hey, I would recommend before May rejoining, especially if you want to come to our in-person meetup, because for all Web Designer Pro members, you saw this, we are hosting an official Web Designer Pro in-person conference in May. Super excited about that. So hope you guys can join us when you're ready. We'll talk about Pro here moving forward too, but I want to get to some questions here. Mark said, missed you on Tuesday. I was grieving over what happened. I understand, Mark. I get it. I totally get it. Look, if the Jackets make it to a Stanley Cup final and lose, I won't be able to do a Q&A session for several weeks, so I get it. Good to see you, Jeremy, from snowy South Carolina. How often does it snow down there, Jeremy? Probably not too long. I imagine that's a little more rare. But today, frenemies, says Mark. Yes, frenemies for one day. I like that. Frenemies. I don't know what the weather's like down there, Jeremy, but right now we are feeling like -3. That's where we are right now. We are -3 here in Columbus, Ohio. So I don't think it's that cold in South Carolina, but all right, guys, let's get to some web design and web business questions. If you're new, welcome in. If this is the first time you've joined a live stream, great to have you here. I am down to answer any questions you have. These are super casual, very open-ended. There's no agenda here. There's no, this is just purely some time to answer questions that you guys have so I can help you, especially as we're early on here in 2025. To kick off your business and style and get going here. Every 10 years it snows, says Jeremy. It was snowing on the beach in Gulf Shores, Alabama yesterday. Wow, no kidding, John. That's our vacation spot often. So, well, we usually go to Orange Beach, but gosh, that's wild. How often do you see snow at the beach down there? That's crazy. Jennifer Robinson, hello, OMG, that is so cold. I will stick to the West Coast, says Jennifer. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Totally get it. All right, let's move into some questions, starting with Justin. How is the movement challenge going? Are the kids winning? Yeah. So what we're doing right now, and so we have some members of my community, Web Designer Pro here. We are doing a 30-day movement challenge. Mine is 50 push-ups a day and sumo wrestling the kids. Yes, the kids always win on sumo wrestling because they tag team and beat me up. And I've been really good at the push-ups. I've missed a couple days, but I am making up for the days I missed. But it's amazing how in this season of life with 3 kids under 6, how even just getting 50 push-ups a day in can be challenging. So, but it has been a good kind of kick in the pants, if you will, to just get more physical and more active. It's one reason we kicked off that movement challenge in Pro. So even if you guys are not yet a member of my community, Web Designer Pro, I would still really encourage you to do your own movement challenge as we get further here in 25. It's just a great habit builder thing to do, whether it's walking, unless you're in this neck of the woods. So if you're like Jennifer and you're out west, maybe walking, maybe surfing, you lucky dog, whatever it is, I would really encourage you to do some sort of movement challenge, just to switch things up and to start building some habits this year. But it is going good. Justin wanted to know, does the whole Trump thing affect web designers as a business owner? Any major changes in laws, legislation, taxation, etc.? I think it will take some time, Justin, to see what laws are changing, especially as far as taxes and stuff go. I'll have to check with my CPA to see what is ahead with tax changes, either good or bad. So I don't know. I don't think anything changes immediately as far as taxes go, but I will definitely keep an eye on that. I mean, anytime there is a governmental change in cabinet, there's going to be some changes, some for good, some for bad, some swing back, some swing worse. It kind of depends. So I really don't know. I haven't looked into it myself on what the new tax rates are going to be. And some of that depends on the income level and revenue level you're at. Most small businesses, there seem to be, in my experience, at least here in Ohio, there seems to be more family benefits or cons depending on whatever's going on in the current administration. So as somebody who's pretty apolitically typical, I don't really, I kind of keep up with the basics, but I think there's more, at least stateside, there's more things that have to do with like personal income tax, for example. Like income tax has gone up dramatically over the last while. So my hope is that income tax would go down dramatically. But there are some, as far as web design effects, there are some things that happen, at least in the States, where certain states have control of like online sales tax. I remember this was years ago, but I couldn't have a SiteGround affiliate account in Ohio because we had an online sales tax thing that was different and I wasn't able to sign up. Now that has since changed, but things like that can sometimes affect the business side, but I've found there to be more family and personal tax things that are, again, either a benefit or a con. Okay, John, we'll look up the snow in Orange Beach and Gulf Shores. That's wild. Wow, how about that? I had no idea how much snow everyone's getting down there. Here's a good question from Harvest Design. Good to have you here, Harvest Design. How do you not go insane when business slows? I realize working on skills is important, but how do you not get anxious that work is drying up? The key is momentum here. This is a great question, Harvest, because slow periods can happen seasonally. And like for example, in my experience, slow periods for web designers are often like dead of summer, like July tends to be a little bit of a slower time, at least stateside, because most people are thinking about vacations or they're on vacations. They may be taking a little bit of time off before ramping up at the end of the summer and when school starts back up for those who are parents. And then of course, typically always around Christmas time. But I would say sometimes that is your own dang fault. And I'm not calling you out personally. This is for all of us. It's like if we are also doing vacations and we are also not promoting as much or not showing up as much because we're busy on holidays, it makes sense why work dries up. So the key here is to just simply not stop. You've got to build momentum. So there's kind of two aspects of this. There's keeping a client pipeline, and then there's like business is slow and you need a revenue boost. So pipeline, revenue boost. In both of those cases, there's a few things I would do to always keep top of mind, especially right now in 2025. One thing, if you guys are not doing it yet, we had a challenge on this inside of Web Designer Pro last fall, is a newsletter. If you don't have a monthly newsletter, web designers, please, for the freaking love of everything, start a monthly newsletter. Every single one of my members of Web Designer Pro who is doing a monthly newsletter is having success. Let me say that one more time. Every single one of my members of Web Designer Pro who is doing and sticking to a monthly newsletter, coincidentally, is getting clients and has a pipeline. Now, there may still be dips, but there is something oh so valuable about staying top of mind. So in your case, Harvest Design, whether business is slow right now, well, let's look at this in two different ways. To keep the pipeline going, do things that keep you top of mind. A newsletter is a biggie. Having a weekly referral group or networking group that you're a part of is a biggie, especially when times do get slow, because you can say, guys, I've got openings right now. I would really love to take this time to be able to work with you or work with anyone you know who needs a website. So get in a networking group. You can join BNI, which is a referral group, which is literally guaranteed leads. It's an investment, but if you want to get leads in your business, you got to invest in some sort of marketing. I would do BNI. I would do a referral group. A lot of those meet virtually too, if you're not in a big area like a metropolis. So networking group, newsletter. One thing you can do as well, not only to keep your pipeline going, but also if business dries up as a revenue boost, is just announce that you have openings and that you're booking the next few months. We did a challenge at the end of last fall in Web Designer Pro, which was a booking new business challenge, basically, to where over the next few months, you could say, hey, we've got slots open and I've got availability to start new projects over the next, for example, 30 days or 60 days. Lock in your spot. Maybe there's a promo. Maybe you do a website audit or something that you could discount. And you could say, normally I sell audits for, $300, and then that leads into a project. But for right now, you can get it for $97. I'll review your website. I'll give you a plan of action for the next quarter. And then if you sell that for $97, that leads into new business. Those are a few things you can do that I've seen work really well for web designers in my community, Web Designer Pro, for number one, staying top of mind and avoiding the dry pipeline, and also when business does slow. And I haven't even talked about this, but recurring revenue. Hopefully you're building your recurring revenue with a maintenance plan at the very least, so a support plan. And then ideally, you'll transition to get into some more growth style services. We've talked a lot about this, and I could even hit on what I'm seeing working really well right now with support versus growth plans. We've got some members here. Maybe Mark, I might show your site here just to show what you can do in that regard, but have some sort of ongoing MRR, monthly recurring revenue, support and growth options for your really good clients. This is beneficial, especially when you have a larger pool of clients, but even in the beginning. Let's say you have 2 clients and they're each paying you $500 a month or $1,000 a month. That can really help your baseline to avoid the drying up. So let me know if that helps, Harvest. I'm just going to call you Harvest. Loved the Austin church convo. Awesome, Mark. I'll have to let Austin know. Before the episode ended, what were a couple takeaways that you had from him? Yeah, so if you guys have not heard this podcast conversation, holy crap, it's a good one, because it's all about money. Money makes everyone feel different. You may feel weird. You may feel sweaty. You may feel pumped. You may feel like the sky is the limit. I can't recommend enough that you give this episode a listen. Let me drop it in the chat for you guys here real quick. And I tell you what, so it's in the chat if you guys want to check this out. It is with Austin Church, and hot dog, is it a good one? Let me share some screen with you here real quick. And actually, let me see there we go. So you guys should be seeing this. Yes, please do yourself a favor and listen or watch this episode. Austin Church is a really, really great mind when it comes to money and how to charge your worth and how to change your money story. All of us, the reality is, all of us have a money story, depending on our background and depending on how we grew up. I grew up with a lower middle class family background. So there are no business owners, no entrepreneurs in my life. Everyone is a corporate salary worker. Try to save as much as you can, try to spend as little as you can in order to be able to make it. That's kind of what I come from. So when I became a business owner and accidentally became an entrepreneur, I really had to change my own money story, which this really helped me with. So Mark, to answer your question, what were some of the takeaways? Let me get back to your question here. For sure, it was just the importance of changing your money story, which you can do. The really cool news is you can change your money story. That helps when you get into a community of other entrepreneurs, other web designers, which is one of the biggest benefits of joining Web Designer Pro. It can happen if you join a mastermind group with a few trusted colleagues. It can happen when you read books. It can happen when you do stuff like this, like hearing from other people who have changed their own money story. So I hope this helps. I would really encourage you to check this one out. Another thing that I thought about with him and I featured this as the snippet that went out, is the idea of six figures and how a lot of people feel icky about $100,000. But the reality is, especially if you're stateside, $100,000 is just the bare minimum if you live in a place like I do in Columbus, Ohio, for a decent life. And you have kids, and you have taxes, and you have a mortgage, and you have medical expenses. $100,000 is just the basics. So I think the idea of six figures is much more $250,000 now than 100,000. So those are the few things that I kind of took away. And again, highly recommend that conversation with Austin. Thanks for mentioning that, Mark. And then let me get back to, I think I saw Harvest said, thanks, Josh. I have a tendency to get paranoid when we have a day or two when we're not out straight. I think it's more psychological. It is. It totally is. The reality is, it is when you're in business for yourself, that's what we all deal with. The alleviation to that is to build recurring revenue and to build your pipeline up. And one thing you can think about too, I don't know, Harvest Design, I don't know how long you've been in business, but if you look at your track record, that will give you some confidence in saying that even if you don't have recurring revenue that's covering your bills yet with a support plan and a growth plan, you still may say, look, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but let's say you've been doing it for 3 years. And you say, I've had some low months, had to make some sacrifices, maybe had to miss a few payments, but we got caught back up. But if you can say to yourself, I've done this and I know I can continue to do this and I can have a revenue boost with some of the strategies I just mentioned. If you just joined us, the replay will be up and you can listen to some of those strategies. But you can look at that and say, even if we have a low month, I know I can make money. And that's the beauty about being an entrepreneur and a web designer, is you can make your own money at your own time. And if you need to have a season of hustle for a little while, that's the time to do it. But salary workers, they don't have that opportunity. They don't have that option. They get paid a certain amount. And when their mortgage goes up or their income taxes go up or their groceries go up, the only option to make it is to save more and to reduce somewhere. As web designers and entrepreneurs, how awesome is it that we can make our own money? And it sounds super corny and cliche, but we make our own destiny. Like, it's totally up to us how much we want to make. There is no cap on the revenue we can make. So I hope that's exciting. It's a good thing to remember, because the thing is, I really encourage you not to think about like, oh, what if I lose work? What if I lose work? Because if you have that mindset for too long, that's going to carry into sales and networking groups, and clients are going to sense if you're feeling desperate. So look, I've been an entrepreneur for 16 years. 2009 is when I got laid off from my cabinet making job and I became an entrepreneur. So we're well past the 15-year mark. And this is what it looked like. This was my revenue line. It looked like that. It's kind of like a roller coaster. And then it went like this. I talked publicly recently in episode, what was that? Was that 361 that I shared? No, 360 that I shared my recent rebound, my business rebound. I'll put this in the chat. Yeah, because I was very honest about this. My revenue in my business was down $125,000, over 6 figures of revenue down over a 2-year period, but I rebounded from that. So it went like this, went really high, and then for a lot of reasons that I share in episode 360, if you guys want to listen to that, if you have not had a chance to listen to that one, it's right here for you. I really recommend it. I'm happy to share that business is a roller coaster and you will have some down times. But the cool news is, even at this revenue down range, it didn't blow up my business. It just shows that we were profitable enough and we were sustainable enough to where I could even go 6 figures down and still make it, which is pretty dang cool. And I had to make some sacrifices and I had to work my ass off to rebound, but I did. And I learned a lot, which is shared here. By the way, these are literally what I did to rebound right here. I didn't stop. I committed to Web Designer Pro being my main new offer, and then some other things that really helped. So I would encourage you guys to check that out. But yeah, those happens, but you can't dwell on it. If you dwell on it, especially if it's not happening, like I get it. Our worst fear lies in anticipation. So if you're dwelling on what could happen, it's gonna suck the life out of what you can do. All right, let me get to some more questions. I spent some time on that one. In the UK, says Justin, the cost of living has shot up, so people had to raise their rights. Yeah, I mean, that's the same in States too. I think it's the same everywhere. Inflation is not just reduced to America. Good to see you, Luis. Welcome in. In relation to slow periods, says Mark, you always have them. When you're busy, you tend not to advertise. Advertise when you're busy. Well said, Mark. That's a great point too. You can't stop your sales engine, which is a big benefit of a couple different things. You could create content and create whatever you're doing marketing in bulk. That way that sustains you. You can also, during the periods of being busy, just like work on like building a catalog of like case studies and kind of a content gold mine that you can always pick and choose from. But yeah, you don't want to turn off your sales engine. Also, another benefit of going to a networking group every week, which most of you know, if you've been following me for a while, if you're a member of Pro, I literally didn't advertise at all. I went to a networking group and I had a few core referral partners. I had like no social media and I didn't even have an email list back then. It was just my networking group. That was enough to sustain me and keep me going. Justin, can you talk about how long a business owner should absorb ever increasing cost and how that difficult conversation with a client on charging more? So I'm not sure if you saw this, Justin, very timely. Let's dive into Pro real quick because okay. So first of all, hold on one sec before I share my screen. Justin, I know you're a member of Web Designer Pro, so I'm going to recommend that number one, let me share my screen real quick. You jump over into the business course. And there is a lesson here for those who aren't into Pro. Gosh, I recommend it. You can jump in all the courses for $49 a month right now. All of my courses, all of my SOPs, everything right here, 24/7 at your fingertips. But there is a lesson on raising your rates. So I want to see Justin. This is what I want you to look like next year, Justin. There are some tips here that I'll go over real quick. So again, this is in the business course. We expand on it in more detail, but mainly what I recommend doing is raising them in the same price bucket. For example, if you're charging $29 a month for hosting and you're like, this is literally not even sustainable, you can tell your clients, I need to do this just to stay profitable and stay in business. Most every client will be fine with a price rate increase. By the way, we all experience this. Disney Plus has gone up. Netflix has gone up. All of our subscriptions always end up going up at some point. So there is nothing wrong with raising your rates. It's just a part of life. It's a part of business. One thing you can do is you can add a new offer or a bonus or some value before you raise. That way you say, we're raising rates, but you also get this. You can grandfather current rates in with an old rate as long as it's profitable. Or one thing I recommend doing in a lot of cases is to raise your rates significantly, but give your current clients a really good deal. So for example, let's say you raise your maintenance plan rates from $49 to $99, 2x increase, but then you say for current clients, you get it for $75. So you will retain this rate at this plan. So that's what I would recommend doing, Justin. Go back to the raising your rates lesson. Oh, and then I did want to share, just because this is so timely. I think Sandy posted it as a win. Yes, here we go. Sandy posted a recent win about this. This is great for everyone to see. Sandy is a founding member of Pro, for those who don't know her. She's a coaching tier member. So I was literally DMing her for like years and says like, Sandy, you've got to raise your rates. You've got to raise your rates. She was just way too low for her support plans and her maintenance plans. So she literally did this. She said, I'm embarrassed to say how low. She kept on having existing clients just like you probably do, Justin. So again, I don't know if you saw this. She finally increased her rates for everyone below a certain number. And as expected, the ones she's heard from had no problem. There was one, and this was the most important thing. She had one reply that stood out, and it was this. Hey, Sandy, Happy New Year. Thanks for letting me know of the rate increase. I appreciate your work very much, as it has been significantly contributed to our increase in 94 new clients this year. So it actually led to a testimonial, led to a huge win. So it is very rare. You may have a client or two that is not happy about it, but if they're not profitable, it's time to peace. See you later. Most clients are going to be totally fine with it, especially if it's not dramatic. And if it is a dramatic rate increase, then that's when I would just add new value. By the way, guys, I know some of you here have probably been on the fence on Web Designer Pro. I need to publicly state this. Well, we are public right now, so I'm stating it now. I think one value, it's worth to join Web Designer Pro, even at the community level, just for this thread. This wins and successes thread, guys, is literally everything that's happening today. I mean, look at all these wins just within a week, in a couple weeks. So you can see what's working with automations. You can see what Landon did to close a $6,200 deal right here. My gosh, you can learn. Mark, you're here. You sold your first discovery call. Way to go. Oh my gosh, was it Lee? Yeah, Lise. She landed a deal worth $22K, and she shares exactly how she did it right here. Guys, this space right here is worth joining Web Designer Pro. So I really can't recommend it enough. Go to webdesignerpro.com, jump down, get access to all my courses right here, $49 a month. Everything in your hands 24/7. If you want to join all of our forums and you want to see what's working right now in Web Designer Pro, these aren't even case studies. These are just members posting what they're doing that's working. That is the community level. And I've made this really affordable. So for $99 a month, all my courses, the community level, ton of other benefits here. So can't recommend enough, guys. Jump on in. I am going to, I'll drop this link in the description for this video. I meant to do that beforehand. So just go to webdesignerpro.com. Anywho, Justin, those are a few things I would do to raise your rates effectively. Awesome. John just visited a BNI group. Great group of people. Great, John. That's great. The really important thing to remember too with BNI or any sort of networking group is it's nice to have a really good group of people for sure. But the most important thing, it's their extended network. So that group, awesome. You'll probably get some clients directly, but the most important win is who they're connected with and then who they're connected with. Joining a BNI group of 20 people, for example, immediately gets you in the ball, gets you exposed to hundreds of people. So yeah, huge. All right, let me get to some more questions. I'll try to be pretty quick on some of these other questions. Mark updated his maintenance plans. How'd that go, Mark? Hope we already got to that one. Hey, Justin, good to see you. I sent our two $3,000 proposals and a $5,500 proposal last week. I got desperate, had to pay bills. These guys showed some interest in my work. Awesome, Justin. Let me know how those go. I mean, that's over $10,000 right there. So let me know how that goes. Jeremy said that was a good one. I think that was in relation to Austin's money episode. Money mindset is super important. Going back to the money mindset episode with Austin Church, need to keep working on that. Awesome. It is a work in progress always. Oh, Harvest Design, you've been at it for 30 years. Awesome. Yeah. So you've got all the confidence in the world. I would really encourage you, Harvest, to start building some recurring revenue, with more of it with support plans and growth plans. Speaking of, I think it just went live today. I was honored to be back on the Profitable Web Designer podcast with my good friend Shannon Mattern. And yeah, it's live now. So this is on Apple. I'll put this in the comments, but the reason I'm showing this is I really would recommend listening to this episode because we kind of riff on the difference between support plans and growth plans and how to build your recurring revenue with a support plan and maintenance plan separately from growth plans. So I would recommend checking that out. We talk about some good examples there. Mark, since you're here, I'll just show off your site real quick, as Mark is such a good example of building some good MRR with support plans and growth plans. So what Mark has done which is absolutely genius, is to have specific dedicated maintenance and support plans, which have a couple different ranges. I know right now Mark's in between. Typically, maintenance and support plans are going to be anywhere between $100 and $200. So these are supporting the websites that he's building. But then if you have growth plans could be very, very open-ended. A lot of times they're SEO, they're additional content. They could be marketing. They could be strategy. For Mark, he's got a couple options starting at $500 all the way up to $2,000 a month. And guys, this is a really good example in way to showcase that you can build your MRR with current clients by having a series of services for support and some for growth plans, depending on what you want to do. So way to go, Mark. Just one example of many in Web Designer Pro who are doing awesome with growth plans. All right. Okay, Simon has a good question here. I went to my first business networking breakfast. It's a new group, 1 seat for each professional. Awesome. Yep, that's typically, if you guys don't know, that's how networking groups work, or referral groups especially, is you'll have like one web designer, one chiropractor, one insurance agent. There's always an insurance agent. Always an insurance agent, always a realtor. But the cool thing is they work with a lot of business owners. At the breakfast, I met another gentleman who has 12-year-old web design business with 4 staff. The suspense. They offer many web design services around web design, videography, photography, drone services, etc. So they're like a full-on digital marketing agency. The organizer suggested that I fill the videography seat in other chap web designer. Yeah, so I mean, I would talk to them. One thing I would do in that case is I would offer, like, take them out and go in it, Simon, if you haven't done this yet, and I'm sure you will, but go in it with a spirit of co-opetition. So when you meet another web designer or digital marketer, it doesn't mean that you guys are enemies right away. It doesn't even mean that you're frenemies, going back to the term that Mark said earlier. What it means is that they're doing a lot and you may have expertise in like a few areas. And I would, first of all, I would approach them and say, hey, I'm looking to build my referral partner network because I do, for example, web design in SEO, but maybe you don't do copywriting and you don't do photography. Or maybe you're doing video since they recommended that. But the point is, go into it and say, I would like to have a referral partner be able to send my leads to, because I don't do this stuff. If we look like a good fit, I would love for you to be a partner, and vice versa. Maybe they end up doing a lot more on marketing and the web design side of things isn't their strong suit, or maybe they don't like SEO and you do. Guess what, my friends? You have just made an ideal referral partner by connecting with another web designer / agency owner who does a lot of things that maybe you do, but maybe they do better, and maybe you do better on a few certain things. So that's really what I'd recommend doing, and having that spirit of co-opetition. Go into it by saying it's almost a value add for them. Like, because other web designers, yeah, they may be immediately defensive, but if you say, hey, I don't do this stuff, I need a referral partner. I've got work that I'm sitting on and I don't do it, and you can have it. If we look like a good fit, it will reciprocate when you have that approach. So Simon, I hope that helps when it comes to how to build a referral partner like that and work on that. Hey, Russ. Been solo for 15 years. Need some help. All right, Russ, here we go. Thinking of even starting a VA. Yes, that's where I would start. Do you have any recommendations on where to find somebody reputable? What's a decent price for them? It depends on what's involved with the VA, Russ. One thing I'd recommend, so I don't know if you've been through this, Russ, but I do have a free training on how to get started scaling. So I would recommend diving into this first because I expand on this in a lot more detail. The link is in the chat. If you guys go to joshhall.co/scale, that'll take you right here. This is a free training and it gives you my top recommendations on how to scale. This is covered in there a little bit because we're not going to have too much time here. So Russ, I would recommend jumping on this today. As far as finding a VA, the most important thing to do is figure out exactly what you want them to do. So some sort of basic job description and the role they're going to take in your business, because that's going to dictate what you hire out. You don't want to immediately jump into finding a VA until you know exactly what you want to hire out. So highly recommend checking out that training. Link is in the chat for you guys. Completely free. There are a few different options. Number one, if you join Web Designer Pro, we have a whole spot for getting help like that. We've actually got some VAs in Pro. Some are actually in the Philippines. There's a there's so many options for finding good Filipino VAs if you want to keep your rates really, really down, but because they speak really good English. Like I have a tech VA, Chris, who's in the Philippines. And she's incredible. We've never talked on the phone. She doesn't even speak English, but she writes English incredibly. So I would, in most cases, you could start in the Philippines. There are, oh my gosh, I mean, those are a dime a dozen, the sites that will connect you with folks in the Philippines. So I would start there. But one thing you can do too is just start with your existing network of other web designers and stuff, because they're going to know, and often they're going to be working with people who may have opportunities, and they might want to they may want to share the wealth, basically, especially if they're not busy. Like I share my network to Web Designer Pros all the time, because they may have opportunity and availability. So there is, let me show you as a practical site. So my old business coach, James Schramko, what is him and his wife have? So I coached with James for like 5 years. Great guy. The book, Work Less, Make More, I'd highly recommend checking out. Is it on his page? I think he has. I know him and his wife run a service that specifically hires out. There we go. VisionFind. Yeah, so check this out. I'll put this in the chat, visionfind.com. I'll tell James to give me a royalty if you guys sign up. By golly. Yeah, this is a good option. And again, I only recommend this because the Filipino virtual assistant sites are a dime a dozen, and some of them are shady AF, as the kids say. Do the kids still say that? I don't know, but this is a good one. James and his wife started this. And yeah, they know what they're doing. So that's a good place to start, is VisionFind. That is also one of the many resources that I have I have a course on scaling, if you guys don't know. Actually, I'm not going to share this as a sales pitch, I promise. I want to share this as just a recommendation on what to do, because this is kind of the roadmap to scaling. And then just some other questions I'll make sure I get to here. So don't worry. If you've been sitting on your question, I'm about to get to it. But this is what I would recommend for you, Russ, and everyone who is interested in scaling, is this pathway right here. First of all, do a task inventory. This is actually, let me just pull up the roadmap. So this is the roadmap for scaling your web design business. This is literally kind of like the checkoff sheet that I have in my Scale Your Way course, but I'm happy to share it with you here. So you got to figure out the roles in your business, create an org chart. And then ideally, if you find your zone of genius, that's really going to help you know what you want to do. A task inventory. This is step one. Figure out what you want to offboard. You can do this in a week. You can do it in 2 weeks. You can do it really simple. Task inventory is a super way to clear up what you want to do and what you want to get off your plate. I recommend making a flow and friction list. So off of your tasks, what do you do that keeps you in the flow state? What is friction? And then you can figure out how to automate and delegate. And then for Russ and everyone else, then you get into creating a job description and an SOP, and then you find your team member. So this is why a lot of people want to go right here. I want to hire help, but you will make a nightmare situation for yourself if you don't run a task inventory, if you don't know your role chart, you don't know what you really want to do and what you want to hand off, and you haven't already automated everything you can first before delegating, and then creating a nice job description to avoid nightmare hiring situations. So this is yet another benefit of joining Web Designer Pro, guys, at any level. You can get this if you join the courses level, and you can jump into my Scale Your Way course. So let me know if that helps. A few tips there to get going. Let me get to some other questions here. All right. Gosh, the chat is lit right now, guys. I love it. Hey, Emily, good to see you. How do you handle when you're ready to launch a new site, but suddenly doesn't want to host with you, even though you already told them multiple times and they said yes? Aha, answer coming. So Emily, this is exactly why. Let me bounce over and I'll show you exactly what you can do. We're going to bounce over to my maintenance plan course. Why? Because in my maintenance plan course, I guide you through exactly what to do. So jump in the maintenance plan course when you join Pro, even at the courses tier. And then you are going to go right down here to the liability clause. And here it is. So this is exactly what I want you to send to your client. Now, it depends on the contract that you have in place and the terms of agreement. If they said yes and they already signed the contract, Emily, then they may be obligated to do a certain amount with you. But if you want to keep it, if you want to try to keep them around, this is what to send them. It is a liability clause. A liability clause is very simply almost everything you're doing in your maintenance plan. And you could send them a PDF that they have to sign, or you could simply send this via email and let them know, by not moving forward with our support plan, this is what they do. This is what they agree to. Why? Because even when the site gets hacked, even when the site has poor performance, even when they need your support, but they are at your full hourly rate and not a discounted hourly rate, and they don't get priority support, this is all covered. It is a liability release clause. What this means is that you are releasing yourself of any liability of poor performance, website hacks, security, etc. This could be customized to what you have in your plan, but that's what you do, is you send them a liability clause that releases you from all liability. One thing I highly recommend doing when you guys are selling your plans, let me jump over here to this, how to sell your maintenance plans. So again, it's in the maintenance plan course. You can do a couple things. You can give them a free trial, or like in that case, you could give them a free 30 days. What I'd recommend doing, and what I see work really well right now too, is if someone does a full website project with you, and let's say it's $5,000 or $10,000, then it could automatically give them 90 days in your plan, or even up to a year in your plan for really, really big sites. If it is a $10,000 project, I would absolutely say you get a year of our hosting and maintenance plan, which is normally $99 on us for the first year. And then after a year, then it starts back up. So a couple different recommendations there. But for you, Emily, step number one is to send off a liability clause. Again, if you want to jump in pro and nab that whole lesson, it's there for you. Otherwise, the simple way to go about it is take your maintenance plan, list out your deliverables, and that's your liability clause, essentially. So I'd really, really recommend doing that. Yeah, the disclaimer is huge too. You hit them with a disclaimer that you're not responsible for poor hosting. And you don't want to make clients feel bad. You want to say, like, I understand, you may be leery about this, but I would just say, like, we are in your corner. This is the biggest sales tip for support plans and maintenance plans. Emily, me, the designer, I'm in your corner. I'm your web person month to month. You do not have to worry about this stuff. If you have questions, if you have website updates, if you have a problem, I'm here for you. My team is here for you. That's the sell. If they see a list of things in a subscription, I understand business owners are like, oh, another subscription. My CFO is going to kill me. But if you're like, listen, we are a partner in your web design presence, and I want to support you. And quite frankly, tell them this. We worked our ass off on this site. We want it to perform well, and we want to help you grow your business. And these are the things that need to be done on the back end. And on top of doing these things to update and maintain the site, we are going to be in your corner month to month. Side note, huge for a lead in to a growth plan. So I hope that helps, Emily. Let me know if that helps. She says, yes, but I want them to stay with me and get my MRR up. This has happened with 2 sites in the last 3 months. Drive me crazy. I mean, Emily, I would expect it, honestly, but I think I really can't recommend enough that you go through my maintenance plan course, because it's going to help your conversion rate tenfold. Can anyone back me up on that? Everybody who's been a member of Pro and has gone through my website maintenance plan course, can you share some of your confidence and takeaways from that course on how to sell maintenance plans? I mean, Mark's here. Mark has openly said his maintenance plan based off of my course was, a huge part to his business. If you guys would, please encourage Emily that it's okay. Like, she's not alone. It happens, but a few simple tweaks on how you sell that will help your conversions hugely. So jump in the chat, Emily. I really encourage you, if you can, to jump into my maintenance plan course. Just go in the courses tier at Web Designer Pro, jump on in, zip through the course. It's a pretty short one. Grab those resources, and I can guarantee your conversion rates are going to go way up. So awesome. Jennifer, yes, take the course. Love it. Keegan recommended WOM, the Web Designer's Owner's Manual, which is by my friend Kyle Van Dusen. Keegan, how dare you recommend somebody else's product on my live stream? Kick him off. No, Kyle's great. A great addition. The reality is there's no right or wrong way to do this. So Kyle's website owner's manual is great too. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. But the key to support plans is to position yourself as their ongoing partner and just make it more of a support partner at first, which is going to open the door for being more of a growth partner moving forward. Growth partner sounds a little weird, but you got it. All right, let's see here. Good to see Alexia in the house. I will answer your question. Keegan says, go ahead and join if you're awesome. WP is an awesome community, incredible pros. Thanks to you and others, Keegan. Obviously, I couldn't agree more. Okay, we answered this one. Thanks, Keegan, for mentioning that, though. It is, yeah, guys, what is going on right now? Woo, it's sweet. And we're doing our first in-person event here in May. Okay, awesome. Russ, glad that helps. The scaling. Some good stuff in the chat here. Alexia, speaking of a great web designer pro, is it best to set expectations with people? Yes, I think I can turn this question off. Yes, Alexia. It's all about expectations, honestly. When they're leads or when they became new clients. Okay. I've learned so much from my bad experience with the new client that I posted about in Pro. Yeah, so for those who are in Pro, you probably saw on a recent coaching call and a post that Alexia had posted. She landed a great recurring revenue social media marketing plan with a client, but turned out to be a bit of a nightmare, which unfortunately social media often is. So why I don't always recommend it. I would personally steer the hell away from social media if I was focusing on web design, but Alexia is kind of in more of a marketing suite, so marketing seat. So what I would do, Alexia, yeah, expectations need to be absolutely before they pay you. So leads. You've got some really good, so actually, let's do a little bit of, this is what we do every week in Web Designer Pro, if you're curious. Let's do a little bit of a website review on this, just because I think this is going to answer a lot of questions. So this is Alexia's website, visualvibedesign.com. Go to check it out. Really, really great example of what we just talked about by having a support plan that's separate from growth services. So Alexia has a couple different support plans, but their trouble runs into marketing. So in marketing, what I would say, we may want to make some tweaks here because I know, Alexia, you're rolling with kind of a done with you or done for you, which we've talked about, which is a great starter point. And look, you're new at the growth plan, so I understand that this is ideal to help get your feet wet before you make some packages out of this. But at this point, you'll probably, look, when you're at the quoting point, this is where I would make the expectations on the quote. So in an ideal world, expectations are on a sales page. But I get that, especially for a service like this that's a little more open-ended to start, the expectations then need to be on the quote page. You never, ever, 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 this is not just to you, Alexia, this is to everybody. You never want to set expectations after they've paid. That's like danger, nightmare road 101. So expectations ideally on a sales page, especially if it is a nailed down productized service. Plan B, quote, expectations on the quote page. So I hope that helps, Alexia. Everyone check out her site because Alexia is up to some awesome stuff. So that's the big deal. And again, expectations are so varied depending on what your growth service is. If it is SEO, that's a big problem point for a lot of people, is what is the expectations of SEO. I just had a chat with one of our top members of Pro Sam, local SEO Academy, and he was saying right now he actually only sells year contracts for SEO. He's got away from 90-day sprints just because the expectations for 90 days or even month to month just could not be fulfilled. SEO takes more time. At the minimum, it takes 6 months in most cases. So same thing for a lot of other services. Set those expectations ideally right from the outset, and then the quote. Thank you for this, Mark. Mark says, the maintenance plan course was the first one I ever took from Josh. Definitely changed my entire business trajectory. Yes. Awesome, 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 Mark. Thank you so much for mentioning that. I'm going to screenshot that because I'm going to get that out to the world. That is awesome. Thank you so much for mentioning that, man. Yeah, Justin says, go through the maintenance plan course. We'll help you immensely. Thank you, Justin. Glad that it's helped you as well, Justin. Any pushback from clients who challenge web design costs with the fact that AI can do most all, question mark? Oh yeah, that's a big old question mark, of the heavy lifting for web design, coding, content creation, digital marketing. Jeffrey, show me an AI tool that can do amazing content creation that's original and personalized and all the digital marketing. Now, can AI tools do some good design and coding? Yeah, coding especially. AI is where I would use coding the most as a web designer. AI designs kind of looks like a basic template. And I have yet to see a design tool. Like, I'm a big fan of what Adam Preiser is doing with ZipWP, but it's super basic. I did a mock-up one for my site. I said build joshhall.co in AI, and it was like burnt. Yeah, burnt is like the best term. So AI can do a lot, but there is so much. AI is just a starting point. That's what you need to tell clients. I mean, honestly, I would say, like, tell your clients, Jeffrey, who are pushing back, say like, well, go show me an AI tool that's working really well for brands. Like, let's look at some of their competitors. Did they use an AI site? Are there competitors who are making way more than they are? Are they relying on AI content? Are they relying on AI marketing? I bet not. I put money that they're not. AI is a great starting point. AI is great for idea generation. AI is great for coding. AI is great for bug fixes. AI is great for initial content outlines and ideas. AI is not human. And web businesses who need a successful web presence now more than ever need personalization. By the way, make sure you let your clients know Google is onto this, guys. Google is cracking down, thank God, on AI content. So if your clients' businesses are relying on AI, they can expect to be just in the pile of AI crap and AI slop. Good quality human content has and forever will be where it's at. So, Jeffrey, take what I just said, take the transcript, make it your own, and that's what you send clients. You could make that a blog post, by the way, if you want to. You could also make it your own. Like, the reason I say make it a blog post is if you're getting that pushback a lot, I would have a resource, ideally a video. I would have a video that says, listen, AI is awesome. It's a great tool to help us do certain things, but it is not going to be your saving grace. And here's why. Everything I just mentioned. So I'd highly recommend doing that. That way, when somebody pushes back, you don't need to take the time to remember all that. You have a blog post, you have a little template. Justin said, I had my first nightmare client from hell. As much as he was a pain to work with, I learned so much and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. Thanks for mentioning that, Justin. Look, all of our worst experiences are the best training and the best learning tools. The key is you got to learn from it and you got to make sure that doesn't ideally happen again. But listen, all of our worst experiences are best learning. So, yep. Emily wanted to know, I've been thinking about joining Pro for a while. All right. But wonder if it'd be good for me. Yep, definitely will, no matter where you're at, Emily. Does it have templates for contracts, advice for contacting people to handle SEO and other back-end stuff? Yes, 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 and yes, Emily. Absolutely does. Real quick, let's take a jump back into Web Designer Pro. I will show you exactly what you can expect. And this is just the courses, by the way. Let's jump back into Pro real quick just to answer your question, Emily. I haven't even looked. Maybe you've joined already. I don't know. Let's see. So when you join Pro, as far as just the courses, you will get the roadmap. I have a recommended course roadmap depending on where you are in your journey. If you are a little further along and you're good with design and you've got a decent process, you're pretty good with SEO, I would generally recommend going right into my business course and then maintenance plan and then scaling. Now, if you, like Emily, you may be in a place where you need to really fill in the gaps on all this stuff, then that's where these other courses are going to come into play. Now, I do have a beginner Divi course. For those of you who don't use Divi or don't even use WordPress, these courses are primarily agnostic to other platforms as well. I would start with my process course. So for you, you may start with process, then to my design course, which is actually more UI and UX based. And then I'd probably go into my SEO course And then I do have a course that I'm actually redesigning over the next 2 weeks. This course is still fine, but I am going to be posting the new version here because it's a very quick basics down and dirty course on DNS and what's under the hood of websites. And then for you, the business course is going to be huge, Emily. This has all of the contracts, everything that you need. My maintenance plan course will help you with recurring revenue. And members, I don't know if you saw this, but I just recently launched Web Designer HQ. This has everything, all the links to everything that you need. So all of my course SOPs are now right here. So for you, Emily, if you want to just jump in and just grab all the stuff, you can get all my SOPs right here now, a click of a button. And this will have links to all the lessons in the corresponding courses. If you want a little quick guide, here are all of my SOPs, including my maintenance plan setup checklist, my SEO checklist, all of my templates, so questionnaires. Yes, your contract, your proposal templates. These have links to the templates, which are available in PDF and raw text file, so you can implement those into your system of choice. All here for you. So yes, everything. And it's got some back end stuff too, again, Emily, to help you with the process side, the design side, and the DNS side. Again, the roadmap is where you'll be pointed to help get a feel for what's all included. And then the course resources, Web Designer HQ, is going to be a great little gold mine for you. And we also have some links to the guest trainings and things that are really helpful as well right here. So yeah, yes, a resounding yes all around. All right, guys, last few minutes. Let me get to some final questions. Great questions stuff today, guys. This has been awesome. I hope you're having fun. Hope you're learning a lot. Definitely hope to see you in Web Designer Pro, either at the courses level, or if you want to engage with the community, get more access to calls, more access to me and our forums, see what's going on with our wins and successes, join our upcoming live event. We'd love to see you there. Oh, real quick, let me just share that, and then we'll do final questions. So yes, Web Designer Pro Con 2025 happening May of this year, Friday, May 2nd through May 3rd. Guys, if you are members who have not locked in your tickets, we have 25 early bird tickets. There's already 12 committed, so we're already halfway there. So make sure you nab your ticket. This is what we're going to do. Friday night, all members who are coming, I have rented out the Slugger Suite in the Columbus Clippers baseball stadium. We're going to have an absolute blast there in the Slugger Suite. We're going to have a fun social. Saturday, we're going to be here doing a live in-person workshop. I've got a few guest speakers lined up. I'll be speaking myself. We're going to be doing a revenue boost style workshop to help you make a lot of money right away when you leave this. Super excited about this. I'm actually going to be visiting this space on Friday. So any questions from members, let me know and I will relay those. And then we're going to be doing a dinner on Saturday night covered with your ticket around Columbus here. So we're going to have an absolute blast. I hope when you join Pro, you do have to join the community level to be a part of this. So I would recommend the community level because you get access to this and everything. You get access to the wins and successes. Holy cow, is this where to go when you join Pro? You can just jump in every week and see what is working and apply it to your business. You get access to our challenges, like our current movement challenge. So yeah, definitely recommend that you join us. And you can join the courses to get access to all the stuff. Last few questions here. Justin said, we often talk about getting clients, but sometimes we have clients that are not a good fit that we need to shake off. Heck yes. Those that don't respect our work, time, and boundaries. Well said, Justin. Experienced wisdom there. When and how do we fire clients? Justin, if you feel like a client needs to be fired, it's time. Because if you feel like you're at a situation where you could kind of work it out, look, Alexia has been in this right here. This client has been such a nightmare. I'm sending her letter of termination today. Yeah, because Alexia, I know last week you were talking about maybe salvaging it. Thought everything was good after our last call, but nope. Rethinking if I should even need to offer marketing. Alexia, did I not tell you to be wary of social media? And I'm calling you out, Alexia, but I only know it's because it's really tempting and it's really common that web designers are asked about social media, but man, is social media a different ballgame. If you do anything in regards to marketing as far as social media, Alexia, you are a brand designer, and Justin, I'll get back to your question. I would consider creating assets for social media, but don't be a social media manager. A social media manager and a web designer or brand designer, two completely different jobs. So Alexia, send those to Kevin. Kevin, who does my social media. Kevin's a member of Pro. I think he commented on your post in Pro, Alexia, about send them to him. He'll probably give you a kickback. Now, the Nightmare client, I don't know. Kevin's he's a pretty chill guy from Virginia, so I think he'd be able to, he's like, I've never seen him raise his voice or be at all stressed, so he may be a good fit to balance that out. But yes, my recommendation for you, Alexia, and anyone considering doing social media, be fine to create graphics for social media assets as like a branding package, but that's when it stops. Ongoing management for social media, different ball game. Now, ongoing content, blog content, SEO, that stuff is awesome. Different ball game though. So that's what I'd recommend. For you, Justin, when and how do we fire clients? If you're thinking like, I really want to fire this client, now is the time before it gets worse. Like Alexia experienced, when you try to make it work, it just never works. It's like breaking up. This is why you can't stay friends with an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend typically, right? It just never ends up well. And then when you finally do find your significant other, they're like, why are you going to lunch and dinner with your ex-girlfriend? It feels weird. So yeah, I understand that. You got clean break. How to fire them? Justin, it depends on the term of service. If they're mid-project, then it may be you take the initial investment and then they get refunded the rest of it, or they just don't pay the rest of it. Or if there's nothing holding you to them, it's an immediate piece. It's, listen, we have these boundaries. We set these expectations. You've crossed the line on this. Nothing personal, but we cannot continue our working relationship. Quick email, see you later. And that's it. Now, I realize I said that quick, and it's easier said than done because there's a personal element there. There's revenue, but it's much better to take a little hit, even in revenue, in order to save your sanity, save your bandwidth, and save your future revenue. So do it today, Justin, if you can. Get rid of them. Peace. Adios. Bye-bye. Awesome, Jeffrey. Your feedback mirrors my own position. Just needed the confidence to state that with clients. Awesome, Jeffrey. Great. That was in regards to the question of clients questioning AI. So yeah, for you, Jeffrey, I would write a personal blog post and make it a piece of content. Again, the reason I say make it a piece of content is because, number one, it makes you look like a pro, makes you look like a total expert, but also there's nothing worse than retyping out an email that you've already typed before. You could save it as an email template. That would be fine. But even better is the bullet list of an email template that goes to a blog post. Make it something you refer back to because it's going to come up all the time. That's what I would do for sure. Matt says, yes, Emily, do it. Awesome. Cool. What a chat, guys. All right. Any final questions? Drop them in the chat now, and I will get the last ones here. John says, it's worth it just being able to lean on other web designers who empathize and know what you're going through and challenges we face day to day as far as joining Pro. Thank you, John. Listen, I would hope my courses and coaching are worth it, but that's great to hear too. Just kidding with you, John. Awesome. Emily started in print 18 years ago. Now build design-centric sites using Divi for all industries. I crush it with brand messaging and aesthetics, but all using the Divi pre-made layouts. Very cool. Well, hey, if that works, I mean, I would start to use the Divi layouts for sure, just as a starting point, and then make it your own from there. I feel like I fraud since I struggle to handle the back-end stuff. I don't actually know how to do the CSS or deal with domains, etc. I hire people out for that all the time. That's okay, Emily. I mean, my courses will teach you the fundamentals on all of that because I do have my Divi CSS course that's still available as well. So that will help you with all that. The cool news is you really don't need to know that much to know the basics. The reality is, Emily, that's completely fine. Look, don't feel like a fraud because you don't know anything and everything. In fact, the people who know everything are often terrible business owners and they burn out because they're really good at all the tech stuff. But for you, Emily, it's so much more important that you are marketing focused and results focused and conversion focused. And absolutely leave the development stuff, the scary stuff, the technical stuff for people to partner up with. And you can partner up with a couple folks in Pro, or if you already have a list of contractors, awesome. You rely on them. I can't recommend this enough. That's totally fine. Just because you don't know everything about web design. I mean, look at that. Let's just lay this out. Is someone expecting you to know everything about design, everything about conversion, everything about copywriting, everything about messaging, everything about marketing, everything about SEO, everything about DNS, everything about process, everything about security, everything about, do you understand? Like, that's 9 things right there that I just listed off that you know the basics, but if you are the owner of your business, if you're the marketer, if you are helping your clients grow their business, you should not be tinkering around with every little CSS problem and every little support issue. In fact, I guarantee your clients will thank you for being more present, for being marketing focused, for being growth focused, and not being the tech support person. You have people to handle those roles. Real quick, we're going over, but I got some time. I don't have any other calls today. I do have a call later. That's lie. I'm talking with James Barnard today, who's going to be back on the podcast, social media expert. Real quick, I just want to show this to you, Emily, and you may have joined already. I don't know, but I just want to show this to you because in the scaling course, this is articulating my point. So when I talked earlier about creating a role chart, this is why. It's up here. Know your roles. This is exactly why. Emily, you probably feel like you need to be in every single role to be not a fraud, and I don't mean this personally because we all deal with this, but it could not be further from the truth. You need to decide to grow your business and to help your clients. What role do you want to do? If you are client support and tech support and administrative, you're going to take time away from selling. You're going to take time away from managing projects well. You're going to take time away from designing and developing and your content and messaging, like you said, you're really good at. You're going to take time away from being the CEO of your business. You have got to be totally fine with offboarding a lot of this stuff, especially if it's repetitive, especially if it's not your zone of genius, and especially if it's taking you away from being the owner of your business. So for all those reasons and more, it's why I built my scaling course, Scale Your Way. It will help you get out of those roles. All right. Got me going. Emily, I honestly think I'm going to hit 6 figures. Awesome. Ready to go for pro. All right, Emily. Hey, when you join, I will follow up and say, welcome on in, and we'll get you going. There are some success pathways to have you ready to go. The courses are a godsend. Cannot recommend it enough. My Business Web Design. Thank you. I forget what name is behind this brand. Let me know. Sweet. Mark says, so freaking excited. How many people are in the pro community? So we have between the course and between the community and coaching tiers, I think we're at like 275. So it's under 300. We have over 100 in the courses right now. But the people just in the courses don't have access to the community. It's intentional. That way people have time to go through the courses if you want before you join up to the community. So yeah, it's small but mighty. It's small enough to where it's not like a huge Facebook group and it's just like the Wild West, but it's big enough to have the support you need. I honestly think that any group under 1,000 people is small enough to get to know people with the core groups within that, which is why we have the coaching tier, which is much more intensive and much more tight-knit. And then the community tier, which is a little bit bigger. And then we have the coaching tier for when you're ready. So I would join the community tier for you, Emily, for sure. Alexia said, call me out. I need it. All right, guys. Let me see if there's anything I missed. My biggest regret, says Justin, was not taking so long to join pro. Do it now. Thank you, Justin. That's awesome. You're killing it. Jason says, community event information for non-members. Want to see more before I join. So Jason, you do have to be a member to join our in-person events. There is a ton of information on webdesignerpro.com. This question may have come before I share about the community event. And what WDPCon is going to be small this year, where I'm not anticipating any more than 40 members. In fact, if it's over 40, we're going to have to rent a new space and I'm going to have to figure something out. So my goal was keeping this one pretty small. But Justin, for you, I did review it a little bit ago. So if you happen to miss that, the replay is going to be available immediately. So just go back and skim through. I did share some details about the event. It's going to be a workshop, small conference style with some really fun socials. Any questions too, Justin, you can email me. Did I put it on here? No, that's not it. Oh, that's the wrong one. I don't have the right, I have an old promo thing and wrong thing on my thing. But anyway, email me. Go to joshhall.co/contact. You can zip over there. Ask me any questions, Justin. I will follow up with you personally. All right, guys. Well, this has been great. Super, super fun. Text limit on YouTube. Trust me, I typed it. Got it. All right, guys. Super cool. Let me see if I missed anything. Wizard Web Designs LLC says, thanks, Josh. Thanks for showing up. Hope this helped. Awesome, guys. All right, just making sure I didn't miss any final questions. Sweet. If you guys have any questions, go to joshhall.co/contact. You can hit me up there. I will be happy to answer any questions you have. I really hope this has helped. A lot of great topics covered, and I really want to say thanks to all the Web Designer Pros who came out to this one. If you, have not joined Pro yet, again, we kind of shared a little bit about the awesomeness that's going on. So look, if you want to grow your business in 2025 and beyond, all the resources you need are in the courses. There's no right or wrong way to go about a web design business. There's a lot of other great teachers out there too. But if you feel like my courses would be a help, I'd love to get you in there right away. The course tier, you could jump in the courses, and then the community tier is what I would recommend jumping in if you want to be a part of the community, see the wins and successes, be a part of more calls, be a part of our challenges, and to join our in-person event, WBDPCon, that's coming up in May. All right, guys. Great one. Thanks, Jennifer, for joining. I'm going to give you the old Midwest 10-minute goodbye. And I'm actually working on the webdesignerpro.com site right now as it's expanding from a one-page site to a multi-page site. So I'm going to head over there after this, after a drink of water, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, guys. Have a great one. Happy week. Cheers.